What's the strangest thing someone you dated did? My boyfriend may or may not be a psychopath, but what he'd been collecting had me shook. So 5 days ago, I noticed that my boyfriend kept a journal in a locked drawer on his side of the bed. I've never really noticed it because my mind had been occupied, but for some reason, it caught my eye this time. So at night when we were in bed, I directly asked him about the journal he kept in his drawer. He gave me a calm smile and pinched my nose all cutely, saying, "It's just my personal journal. Sometimes I write out vivid dreams, and sometimes I put things in there that I want to remember." I asked him, "Like what?" And he shrugged, keeping it vague and saying, "Just things about you." I didn't push the conversation any further because he went back to reading his book, and I didn't want to seem like I wanted to invade his privacy when he clearly didn't want to talk to me about it. But knowing that some of it included details of myself got me even more curious about it. The following day, I decided to find out for myself. I still went through my usual routine of waking up early to make us soft-boiled eggs and toast, and sending him off to work with a kiss. But the moment he was gone, I immediately entered our bedroom and searched every inch for the key to his drawer. I eventually found it taped near the bottom hinge of the closet door. I slipped in the key and twisted the lock open, but the journal was gone. My boyfriend had suspiciously taken it with him to work. It meant that the only time I would be able to check it is on a weekend when he stays home all day, or late in the night while he's asleep. I thought about whether I could just slip some melatonin in his drink later, but that would seriously be wrong in several ways. I decided to take my chances on the weekend. So yesterday, I asked a buddy of his named Mac to come over and invite my boyfriend out. I made up a sob story about how my boyfriend had been looking down lately and needed a friend to cheer him up. Mac agreed, and I reminded him not to say that the idea was from me because I didn't want my boyfriend to feel guilty or conscious. He promised to keep his mouth shut. On the following day, Mac showed up unannounced at our front door and dragged my boyfriend out to grab pizza and go bowling together. My boyfriend looked confused and said no, but Mac was persistent. He eventually agreed and said he would be back home in an hour and gave me a kiss on the cheek. I locked the door and ran straight to the bedroom. I found the key again and unlocked his drawer. I almost salivated out of excitement when I picked up the journal. The feeling disappeared when I opened up the first page. I felt chills as I flipped through the pages. My boyfriend had taken several samples of my hair and taped it onto the journal. He had written a date and labeled each sample based on the hair dye and rated it based on how much he liked the color of my hair. I put the journal back in the drawer and locked it up again. I sat in the living room, wondering if I should burn it or call for help. I ended up losing track of time, and my boyfriend suddenly came back home. I stared at him with wide eyes, trying my best to hide my fear. He waved bye to his friend and closed the front door and smiled. Without waiting for me to ask, he said, "You saw it. What do you think?" I dug my nails into my palm and said, "It's different. What exactly was it for?" He paused for a while, then broke into laughter. He explained, "It's creepy, huh? I'm sorry, I was keeping track of your hair color every time you changed it, because I wanted to make a relationship scrapbook for us, but you hated getting your picture taken. So I decided to take a few samples at the salon whenever you get it colored and trimmed." He apologized and said that he can throw it out if it makes me happy. I accepted his answer and said, "I love you, but you do know that after all of this, I'm definitely going to take up self-defense classes in case you really do turn out like a creeper, right?" He laughed and said he would be willing to pay for the lessons. Later that evening, he showed me on his phone how he got inspired by a Pinterest scrapbook post, where a parent would take hair from their babies and keep it forever. I told him that the picture was definitely cute, but he needed to seriously work on his scrapbooking skills to make it less scary.